All right, folks, well, welcome back. This is the Great Star Diamond LLC case study. Okay, so on page 437, this is an advertising company. I want you to read the case study, okay? Now, remember, we always have four basic questions: what worked, what didn't work, what should they do, and what shouldn't they do. Let's look at, each time I try to vary it a little bit. The first one stands, what worked, okay? What didn't work? I'm going to put a little spin on that. Should they have vetted their new hire better or more? I don't know. Third one, what should they do? Is Brad a bad manager, or is it that his skills need refinement? Let's think about that, because it's a case study about leadership. And then next in the category of what should they or should they not do, what would suggest that the partners do? Okay, because you're being brought in. That's although the case study is got questions at the end of it that says, did Brad make a mistake or whatever. I want you to imagine for this question that you've been hired to correct the problem. Okay, so what are you going to suggest that we do to correct the problem? So read the case study, think about these questions, okay, and then we'll have a discussion about them and we'll go from there. I'll see you in a few seconds. Okay, so you've read the study, okay, and taken some notes, which is great. So let's talk about what's going on here. You got a company that grew up, and they brought in Brad, right? They interviewed lots of candidates. They got Brad. Now Brad automatically sets in place a whole bunch of controls, shall we say. He wants to know what's being bought. He wants to have meetings. He's holding people accountable. He's trying to motivate them based on what he knows, okay? And then people are resentful about that because they've had it kind of free and easy probably before. Now he's there to be the heavy, so to speak. So let's look at what's going on. In a general sense, what did they do right? Well, it sounds like the company was growing, and it needed some managerial controls put in place. So they hired somebody to do that. Well, that's a good thing, right? If you don't do that, then we have anarchy. So let's give them credit that they did the right thing, okay? They got a plan. We're going to get some controls in place here, and they executed it with Brad. Where did they make a mistake? If they made a mistake, now you may not say they made a mistake, because you look at what Brad's doing here, and hey, he not necessarily is off the beam. Everything he's doing here is to get some controls in place. Now he might be a little, egocentric, shall we say, in how he does it. I'm right, and we're going to do it my way or the highway. But he's trying to do what they wanted him to do, right? So this is the rule of unintended consequences. I hired the guy to do what I wanted him to do, and he did it. But I'm not getting the result I want. Do you think his problems are common or unique? Okay? Look at your own life, read newspapers. It is absolutely common what's going on here. The issue is a new management team comes in, and they have a different way of doing it. Okay? It may work, it may not work. Let's take something from that we all can point to, okay, as we go forward in this course. Just in the last few days, okay, Time Warner has been offered to buy them out by AT&T. Okay? And one of the big things is can these two companies merge, right? And you might sit there and say, well, sure, of course they can merge. They're going to merge. Maybe not, right? You got different management styles here, and they're going to have to mesh. Okay? If you want to see when things don't work well, Chrysler Corporation bought out Mercedes-Benz. Okay? The two companies, Daimler-Benz, it never worked. Okay? And in the end, okay, when Chrysler was being broken up, the value of what they had bought had been significantly depreciated by an inability to make the two companies mesh effectively. Okay? So that's a situation where things go poorly. Okay? A situation where things go better, okay, is you could also look at another company, and that would be maybe Baker Hughes that's being bought out by GE. Hughes Tool and Die and Baker, they were two businesses that were symbiotic. They came together. Their management teams were able to lock the two companies together, and they did well. And they've made such a good company. The oil situation hasn't helped them, but now they're a takeover target by General Electric. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so this is in no way unique, and you will probably be called in to fix a situation like this at least once in your career. Next, we get to the next question. What would you tell them to do or not do? Okay, remember, it is sometimes just as important to tell them not to do things as it is to do things. I'll play devil's advocate. They should tell who's ever complaining, listen, grow up. Brad's the manager. Deal with it. Right? That's an option here. Right? You hired the guy, you put him in place. He's your boss. What are you complaining to me for? He's making you do your job. I'm sorry. That's the way life is. You could also take the other view. You could go and pull Brad aside and say, Brad, you got to back off. These people, they're not used to your level of control. It's going to take a while. Let them, break in. It's all going to depend on what you and your company and what your policy is. You're the CEO way high up. You're going to set the policy. Maybe you want a more relaxed environment. Okay, maybe Brad's not your guy. Maybe you want to get them, ship shape fast because you've got a big contractor. You're an advertising firm. You want to go after these bigger, better, and more lucrative contracts, right? You might say, grow up. Brad's the guy in charge. So it very much, think about yourself. What would you ask the CEO before you gave an opinion, right? There's nothing wrong with saying that. I would ask the CEO X, Y, and Z. Tell me what your goals are, etc. And then I would give my opinion. All right? So these are some of the things. We're going to continue with this case study method as we go forward. We're going to try to put a couple of these up every single week, and then we'll go from there. All right? Now, any questions, obviously, you can always drop a line to me. Take care. Bye-bye.